The father and stepmother of Sara Sharif have been jailed for life for years of horrific torture and despicable abuse, culminating in her murder. The 10-year-old suffered unimaginable pain, misery and anxiety as she was repeatedly beaten, burned, bitten and restrained at the family home in Woking in Surrey, the court at the Old Bailey heard. Her father, Urfan Sharif, 42, and stepmother, Beinash Batool, 30, were previously found guilty of her murder. Her uncle, Faisal Malik, 29, who lived with them, was convicted of causing or allowing her death. Sara was found dead in a bunk bed at her home in Woking after her father rang police from Pakistan to confess he had beaten her too much. She had suffered 71 fresh injuries, including 25 broken bones. Sharif had hit her with a cricket bat and iron bar, throttled her and thrown a mobile phone at her head, jurors had heard. Sara was also tied up with packaging tape and her head covered with a makeshift hood during regular bouts of violence that would have left her in excruciating pain, jurors heard during the trial. The abuse began soon after Sara went to live with her father and stepmother in 2019, and she was treated like a skivvy and if she was worthless, Mr. Justice Kavanagh said. He told the court the poor child was battered with great force again and again. The violence became so normalised that university student Malik failed to act after moving in with the family in December 2022. By January 2023, Sara began wearing a hijab at school to cover up the bruises. Urfan Sharif and Beinash Batool had tried to cover up the abuse, twice taking her out of school, and then fled to Pakistan after she died, prosecutor Bill Emlyn Jones KC said. On Tuesday, December 17th, the couple were jailed for life for her murder. Sharif was handed a minimum term of 40 years and Batool given 33 years. Sara's uncle Faisal Malik, who was found guilty of causing or allowing her death, was jailed for 16 years. The defendants made no reaction and stood with heads bowed in the dock as they were sentenced. In the televised sentencing at the Old Bailey, Mr. Justice Kavanagh said Sara's death was the culmination of years of neglect, frequent assaults, and what can only be described as torture, mainly at the hands of Sharif.
Sara was 10 years old when she was murdered. You, Urfan Sharif, were her father. You, Beinash Batool, were her stepmother. You, Faisal Malik, were her uncle. Sara's death was the culmination of years of neglect, frequent assaults, and what can only be described as the torture of this small child, mainly, but not entirely, at the hands of you, her father, Urfan Sharif. The degree of cruelty involved is almost inconceivable. This happened in plain sight, in front of the rest of the family, including, for the last 8 months of Sara's life, in front of you, Faisal Malik. Judges must be careful about using the word torture. It should not be overused, but it is no exaggeration to describe the campaign of abuse against Sara as torture.